YouTube Ozzy and the Godows is back with some more NFL player rankings for the upcoming season. This video, the wide receivers, my top 20 wide receivers. Twitter subscribers will get top 32, and that'll be for every position group. We have a playlist of these player rankings. We did quarterbacks, running backs, now receivers. We're going to do every position group. Listed above me is kind of rules and criteria for these. I'm basically predicting the upcoming season with these rankings, how they will play. Rookies will be ranked because they'll play this year. There's a group of people that have tantrums about rookies being ranked. I don't know what to tell you. We don't really care about the past. We're excited about this upcoming year. Rookies will play. Just kind of my thoughts on how everything will play out here. So excited to very good position group receivers in the NFL here. So really excited about that. Tough leaving some guys out, of course. Follow us on Twitter. We're on Threads, on Instagram as well. Links pinned in the comments for anything you're looking for, including our sponsors, Liquid IV, GLD Shop, code GO. Again, link pinned in the comments for anything you look for. Top 20, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's been very productive for the Detroit Lions, especially from the slot position, comes in at number 20. I mean, just kind of shows how many good receivers there actually are in the NFL. So I think St. Brown could be around the same what he was last year. A lot of it's going to be on Jared Goff. Jared Goff was surprisingly solid last year. Can he play like he did last year? We will see. Devontae Smith at number 19 really kind of broke out last year, could continue to break out. Only going to get better. He's a phenomenal talent, obviously. Really anywhere on the field. I like his work down the field as well. Could catch the ball a little more consistently. Not that he has a drop problem or anything like that. DJ Moore at 18. Excited to watch him on a different team. He's with the Chicago Bears. He's going to help Justin Fields, try to help him grow. They help each other grow here. So DJ Moore's a guy who can get the ball anywhere on the field, so I love that. He's on a streak of consecutive seasons with 1,200 scrimmage yards. So let's see if he can, and that's what kind of bad quarterback. So we would think he'd be able to do that again. We'll see. We'll see if Justin Fields and the Bears can make that happen for DJ Moore. DeAndre Hopkins, your new Tennessee Titan, comes in at 17. It's tough because he had a suspension last year, injuries in the past. If he's playing a full season, he's, very, very good. Obviously, the talent is still there. Tough to say, is he declining or not? Of course, he's not going to get any better than where he was. But it's tough to say, is he actually declining? How many games is he going to play? Obviously, it was a suspension last year. Not so much like the injury year or the year before that. So he's a tough one to rank. Still super talented. The Titans are still kind of a run-first team. So if he was on a pass-heavy team, maybe be ranked a little better. But the talent's definitely still in there. Amari Cooper at 16 got going at the end of last year. For the Browns, and Deshaun Watson being in there, and I'm sure Deshaun Watson will be better this year than he was at the end of last year, because more time with the Browns this offseason going in this year, so they can develop more and more of a connection. So Amari Cooper could have a very productive year. Taking a look at 15 through 11, I got Garrett Wilson, second-year player at 15. I could see a scenario where he sneaks in the top 10, already in his second year. He really took off in the second half of last year as well. Another guy you get the ball to anywhere on the field. I don't want to compare him to Justin Jefferson, but there are some similarities, in my opinion, of their games, how they move, effective anywhere on the field. And he's only in his second year. Now he has Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. This is kind of reasons why maybe he could be better than 15, already. But some tough competition, I guess it's really not competition, tough company here in the top 15. 14, Jalen Waddle, who was super productive last year, obviously a serious speed, deep threat, home run hitting type receiver, and only going to get better, a lot of upside. He could do a little better job catching the ball. When he did have, he didn't have an insane amount of drops, a good amount, I should say bad amount, but I thought they kind of showed up at some bad times last year. So that's something where I guess I had a hard time. Not a hard time ranking him. We got him in a spot at 14, but where I was kind of back and forth, it's like, him with the upside, the serious threat that he is the talent, the production. I could put him inside the top 10 maybe, but then the drops at bad times of the game. I can argue him lower, closer to that 20 spot, not 20, but closer to that spot. So we're kind of in the middle there. I got him at 14. Mike Evans at 13. Mike Evans has those dominant games that pop up, touchdown machine, especially good in the red zone, good downfield. We're not going to talk about that drop that he had last year when he was wide open for a touchdown, but obviously I've been a consistent very good receiver. I don't think he's really getting any better at this point in his career. Not really saying he's in a decline big time, but in terms of production, maybe a little bit, because going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask, we think it'll be Baker Mayfield. So he's outside the top 10, probably been a top 10 receiver. T. Higgins, I got at 12. I don't know. I'm guessing most people would rank him lower than 12. So I like T. Higgins. I think he's a little bit underrated. I think people realize he's very good, but I like him close to that top 10 range. I mean, he's got a split. He's got a share with Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, guys like this. But he's an excellent deep threat, excellent sideline receiver, possession receiver, really got going, more and more of a connection with Joe Burrow. Super talented. I don't think he gets enough credit, really. It was kind of the same way coming out of Clemson, too, which was kind of surprising then. Like, it's kind of surprising when he doesn't get enough credit, because it's like obvious that he should. Like, he's very talented. So I got him at 12. And then DK Metcalf just misses the top 10. Obviously another one of those physical outside receivers that surprisingly can continue to get even better, as well. And it was tough, so tough leaving Tyler Lockett out of this. He's just outside the top 20. And again, top 32 for our Twitter subscribers. Tyler Lockett's been top 20, but again, this is predicting this upcoming year. It's a safe bet that Lockett will catch the ball pretty well, and he'll be pretty productive. He is going to be 31. Some of these other guys younger. Hopkins getting up there too, but he's just a different talent, obviously, if he's on the field. So I guess that was the difference. A couple Jags receivers were snubbed on this too. They're very good. Olave, another second-year receiver like Garrett Wilson. But let's go on to our top 10 here. 10 through 6, got Scary Terry at number 10. Mr. Consistent, super consistent. Gets that separation, can move with speed. I think he's underrated in terms of his contested catch ability, which I guess we don't see an insane amount of that from him, but he's actually very good at it. Catching traffic maybe is more like it, but I guess you wish you would get more touchdowns if you're all about the stats, but super consistent. It's kind of a receiver that you're just looking for in today's game. Number 9, we'll go Deebo Samuel, which the people that will go and just base things off of receiving yards for receivers, which is big. You want your best receivers to get receiving yards, but the people that are going to go off that probably won't rank Deebo Samuel in the top 10. But I factor in a lot more. There's a lot more when it comes to playing receiver, not just going and getting receptions downfield, but what you could do underneath, and obviously he'll carry the ball a bit. He's just such an impact player, such a factor, shows up in big moments, such a game plan issue for teams, which opens things up for himself, his quarterback, but other receivers, other playmakers, not just receivers. So that's the type of player he is. So I still have him in the top 10. Of course, you wish you would get more receiving yards if we're nitpicking, but I'm a huge Deebo Samuel fan. Just a very, very good football player and a game plan problem, matchup problem for teams. CeeDee Lamb at number 8. So maybe he's a little bit on the rise going into this next year. I actually thought he started a little slow last year. I specifically, at the top of my head, I don't remember the actual stats from him. In the beginning of last year, like per game, I just thought in terms of play, at the receiver position, I thought he started a little slow based on what I expected. Not that he was bad, maybe some drops early, but then really, really got going. I thought we kind of saw that the year before as well from him, like really got going, and he had some special moments where we can see this is a special player that's going to be a very special player. Having Dak out there full year, I think Dak's gonna have a pretty good year too this year. It's kind of got a feeling. So CeeDee Lamb still progressing. He can be a top 8 receiver this year. Good everywhere on the field. Good after the catch. Just a big play waiting to happen. So I'm a big fan of CeeDee Lamb here, making the top 8. Cooper Kupp, who was known as the best receiver on the 2021 season alone. Was he known as the best in general, like after that year? Probably not, but close, because he was that dominant, that easily like the guy on 2021 and winning Super Bowl MVP as well. Huge. And then obviously was looking pretty productive last year, but then had that injury. So coming off that, how will he be? I think why he's good is up here. Like, he's more than that, but he is such a smart receiver, can play inside and out, really dominates the inside. Smart route runner, not just a good route runner, a smart route runner. So as long as he's healthy, it's a safe bet that he's going to be pretty good. He is already, up there in age compared to some of these other guys. Not that he's like old and going to be declining. I guess the injury could cause that to happen. I'm just not really counting on it, but Yeah, I thought about ranking him a little better in this too, just because he was the guy in 2021, and he could have been a top 3 guy last year if he stayed healthy. So if he stays healthy this year, he could be up there again. So again, some of these other guys younger, and they're not coming off the injury, so I felt comfortable with him at 7. I thought it was very clear who the top 7 guys would be, like the names, not necessarily the order. I thought it was very clear, like these are the 7 that are going to be top 7. And CeeDee Lamb's coming. If Debo, I guess, maybe ups the receiving production, then, I mean, he's up there because that's just special talent, obviously. But there was a clear, like, didn't have to think. Like, these are the 7 names that will be in the top 7. Like, no question. Like, special guys there. And then Stephon Diggs at 6, which I was actually back and forth. 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. Like, originally actually at 5, and I kind of sit down. I really take this seriously. I sit down, figure this out, and it's kind of predictions for this upcoming year or two. So I really think on how guys will be. The guy I have at number 5, I think, Diggs is phenomenal. Phenomenal route runner, excellent deep ball specialist, home run guy, but great underneath too, where he doesn't get enough credit. Smart, gets separation, like we said. But the guy I have at 5, I think actually could take another step, and there's multiple reasons for that. But Diggs, such a phenomenal talent, one of my favorite players in the league. I have him at 6, but it's 5 and 6. There's no ties here, but it's like basically what it was. I'm like, oh, because I knew who the 7 guys were that were going to be top 7. Those guys separate themselves. Kupp because of the injury last year, and he's aging a little bit, not a lot, but I knew I was going to put him at 7. And 5, 6, I was back and forth. But let's see my top 5. We probably have an obvious one at 1. My number 5 is going to be A.J. Brown, which he's been great. He was great last year, but based off of, like, in general, the past, is he top 5? Was he top 5? No, but he's been great. I'm going to put him in the top 5. Still a very young receiver, so he's actually still getting better. That's one. It's going to be his second year on the Eagles, kind of developing that chemistry and learning that offense more and more. Which he knows. He knew the offense at, probably early last year, let's be honest, but just getting better, growing with his teammates, growing with his quarterback who is still growing in Jalen Hurts, and he's still just very young and getting better. So I got him at 5. I always thought he was very good on the Tennessee Titans. I was ranking him. That's why it's funny, because I'd rank him high. I think people would tell me, like, not 5 high, obviously, because he wasn't there yet. Now he's getting there. And I think it's mainly because of him, because where he's still young and still getting better, where he's getting to, the Eagles being very good, Hurts being very good helped, obviously. But I was ranking around the 10 through 15 range, closer to 10. When he's on the Titans, people kind of giving me shit, but he was always, so I always thought he was underrated. Now people are realizing it's kind of weird how you get on a certain team, you start to realize it. But I think he takes that next step, because he's probably been 6 or 7. If we're like, a lot of people want to rank based on what they have done. There's a lot of people out there like that, which is fun, but I'm just more so focusing on the upcoming year. But if those people would probably rank him at 7, they'd probably put Diggs and Kupp ahead of him. Maybe some people, Samuel McLaurin, guys like that. But I think for this year, I think he's ready to, and he's the talent, the skill level, we already can see it. Like, it's not like all of a sudden he's going to have this top 5 talent in him. Like, it's already there. But I think he kind of makes that push to be known as a top 5 receiver here. So I put A.J. Brown at 5, even though Diggs has been better in the past. Last year was pretty damn close, though. I mean, they were pretty even. But that was the difference maker there. Devontae Adams at 4, which was like a sneaky productive last year. I don't think people realize how productive he was last year, because maybe people expected a little bit more, I guess. But now a different quarterback. He goes from Aaron Rodgers all that time to Derek Carr last year, who was his quarterback at Fresno State, to now a different quarterback in just 3-year span here, 3 quarterbacks, and Jimmy Garoppolo. So I like that fit though. I think Garoppolo's going to get him the ball. I guess we'll wonder about, like, will there be as much deep action? But Adams is just so good working the sideline in that kind of intermediate distance range, I suppose. Very good underneath as well. A guy that can play outside in the slot. I just expect we do see him more outside than the slot. He has some really good moments from the slot, though, but I'd expect him a lot more outside, just because they have Jacoby Myers and they have Renfro, which is he a roster bubble guy. I wouldn't imagine they cut him, though, but trade him. But either way, so that could open up some slot snaps, I suppose. But, safe bet to be in the top 4. The top 4 was pretty obvious for me as well, like who was going to be in there. Not that Brown and Diggs, they can be. They're so close. I mean, Diggs has been in that conversation for some time as well. But I go Adams at 4. Curious to see how he does with Jimmy Garoppolo. Does Garoppolo stay healthy? Does that affect him there? Tyreek Hill at 3. A different type of talent, a game changer. Obviously, a guy that could sneak up on you and score on you at any given time. I think he's probably been at one point, maybe he's been the best, maybe he's been second. He's been consistently top 3. I think based off last year, he was probably 2 behind Justin Jefferson. I'm going to put him at 3. I think he has just as good of a year. Kind of same with Adams. I think Adams can be a little better maybe than he was last year. Perhaps A.J. Brown, I think he'll take a step up, which is ridiculous. Diggs around the same. But yeah, Tyreek Hill about around the same, which is electrifying, one of the best elite talents in football. Why isn't he 2 like he was last year then? I just think a guy like Jamar Chase is going to make that leap to number 2. I think if there is a guy that could take down Justin Jefferson, maybe the superstar of the league here, especially at the receiver position, I think it'd be Jamar Chase, former teammate from LSU, because he's just that talented. He was actually slightly the better prospect than Jefferson, another do-it-all guy. Because he has the best of the best. The receiver position is actually a lot different now than it was even 10 years ago, but even 5 years, 10 years ago. That was back then it was that X receiver that's going to go up and take the ball from you, could burn you deep as well. And now the prototypical receiver is, I guess, kind of a do-it-all guy, but mainly a guy that separates, just gets open. A lot of the top-tier guys are, somewhere around the middle of the field. They seem to get, that's the best of the best that separate. They can work on the sideline and in the middle of the field. But to me, Jamar Chase has all of it. He's that X receiver that'll go up and snatch the ball from you, that'll out-physical you. He'll burn you deep and catch the long ball. You'll give him a screen pass. He'll go to work underneath if you need those extra couple yards. He can get across the middle of the field catching traffic. He can make that spectacular play. He can beat you with speed, strength, size, whatever it may be. So he's got a bit of everything to his game. He's young and still getting better. He didn't play every game last year, and he was still super productive, such an impact piece to the offense. He's a great quarterback. That was his team at LSU. That helps, too, his production, obviously. The chemistry just helps get the most out of him. So for all those reasons I just said, he has the makings of the best receiver in football, the elite receiver of football, and there's multiple elite receivers, obviously. So for that reason, I think if somebody is going to be, if you saw the future, you're from the future, and you told me somebody's going to be better than Justin Jefferson this year, the consensus, the people are going to say this guy is better than Justin Jefferson, who would it be? This would really be my only guess that could pass up Justin Jefferson. Maybe a guy like Tyreek Hill could play better than him, but I think if Tyreek Hill had more, better stats than Justin Jefferson have this year, I think most of the world would still be saying, yeah, Justin Jefferson's probably the best receiver still. But if there's a guy that is going to be known as the guy, I think that would be Jamar Chase. I think he's very capable of doing that. So I have him at number 2. I think he takes that step. He does have to catch the ball cleaner, a little better. Some drops pop up. He has to do that a little bit better. I think he will. That is a big thing there. But it's very, very, very difficult to not. It's kind of we talked about quarterbacks already. It's kind of like Patrick Mahomes. It's very difficult to not put Justin Jefferson at number 1 right now based on what he's doing and that he's still very young and only getting better, which is scary, and him being today's receiver. That's what you're looking for, a guy that can play outside, play inside, get separation, very good after the catch because he's smart. Good downfield, underneath, everything type of guy. His presence last year was ridiculous. It's probably something that it gets talked about. Maybe Justin Jefferson gets talked about a ton, maybe more than anybody, but something specific that people aren't bringing up enough about what was impressive last year. And, to me, some other people want to say the stats, the route running, this, that. How many times was he not only double team but even triple team? He has 2 guys on a man coverage with the safety watching over the top. And when teams want to run zone, they just got to put multiple guys on Jefferson. They can't really run. They can't really play their game. In man, they have to have so many guys directed towards him. It opens things up for everyone else. That to me is the dominance, where the dominance is displayed, the dominance factor, how feared he is. So that to me is actually the biggest takeaway from last year. There was a play where the Vikings lined him up in the backfield and the defense didn't know what to do. And they had multiple defenders guarding him while he was just staying in the backfield. And so somebody was wide open for a touchdown, or it might have been a 2-point conversion. Either way, they got in the end zone. So it just kind of shows how much of a factor, a game plan problem, a focus he is. And to me, that kind of displays the dominance on what type of player, elite player he is. So it's very difficult not to put him on one. But if somebody were to pass him up, I think it'd be his former teammate, Ja'Marr Chase. I think he could do that because of course I think that too. I mean, he showed it too, but when Ja'Marr Chase was coming out, I was calling him the best receiver prospect since Julio Jones. So I know what's in him. I know what the talent that's in him there. So the receivers are freaky talented. Some really, really, really good guys left off this list that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Leave them off this list because they're just that good, but we went over 20 here. Twitter subscribers they're going to get top 32 for every position group. Did the same for running backs. We're going to have a playlist full of these videos so you can check them out. We'll do tight ends next. We'll go on the linemen, then on the defense. Can't wait to rank them all. We'll rank coaches. We'll rank offenses and defenses as well. Can't wait for all that. Season's actually kind of getting close. Some news starting to happen. We got you up to date with all the breaking news on Twitter. So make sure you follow us there. Links pinned in the comments for anything you're looking for. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.